Danny Shaw, who joins us now. Good evening, Danny. Danny, thank you for being with us. So this is the first confirmed sighting that the police are willing to talk about, at least. But as Sadia was saying, they still haven't got their man, and the clock is ticking.
Absolutely. I mean, look, this is a significant development. This will help the police because clearly they know now that he got off that van at that point. They'll be able to trace the CCTV if it still exists and other footage from other cameras and so on to see where he went after that. So that's really enormously useful. But as you say, Mark, that was about 60 hours from where we are now. So there's a huge gap in time where he could be, he could be anywhere. I think the Met are saying, they're still focusing on London, but they're also looking elsewhere in the country, and clearly ports and airports have been on alert. So they're certainly not publicly revealing if they've got any other information as to where he is, but it's clearly a start. And what it does demonstrate is the value of these public appeals, because it's members of the public who often provide the crucial tip-offs.
Yeah, and with that in mind, what do you make of the decision to offer a £20,000 reward?
Well, look, that's a fairly standard sort of offering in cases like this, where you've got a suspect, where there's a manhunt, and you're trying to encourage people who might be sheltering that individual or who might have some information about him to come forward and so on. So it's a nod to the fact that there might be some people who are harbouring him or know where he is, and it's trying to tempt them to come forward. I'm not sure that those rewards have a great value, to be honest. I think if you talk to police, I think they would struggle to name you many cases in which that reward has been paid out. But it's certainly worth doing, isn't it?
And, I mean, it does seem, from what that senior officer was saying, that the public is still very much, as you were saying, key in all this.
Yeah, the public's key, but that's just one part of it. There's a huge amount of work going on behind the scenes. There is something called retrospective facial recognition, not talked about very much. It's not the live facial recognition cameras, which are so controversial, but what it does is involve putting in lots and lots of CCTV material through computers and then getting the computer to try and recognize an image from all that material. And I'm sure that has been going on quietly behind the scenes. They've got very good images of Daniel Khalife. That will be in the computer, and any CCTV material will be put through those computers to see if it can spot him, as well of course, of police officers using, their own eyes to try and identify him. So that's important. There's also, electronic surveillance. If he's got a phone, or if he's managed to get access to a phone, then they will surely, I am sure, be monitoring the phone lines of anyone associated with him, relatives, friends, other associates, to see whether at some point he makes a call. If he's by himself, then he has to surface at some point. He needs provisions, he'll need some money, he'll need some food or drink and so on. And that's really the opportunity to try and swoop. If he's being assisted by someone, then it becomes hugely more difficult.
What did you make, Danny, of the Met Commissioner saying that one line of inquiry is that it could be an inside job? Because that becomes then very difficult for the prison authorities, because it's then either a, corruption or bribery involved here, or it's a, massive security failure.
Well, there's clearly a security failure, whether it's inadvertent or whether it's deliberate. I think the commissioner, if you listen to the whole interview, I think he was just saying, look, we're keeping an open mind. All options are being looked at, whether he had assistance from a prison officer, whether he had help from another prisoner, or whether it was someone outside, or whether he just has done it all by himself. I don't think he was really ruling anything in or out. And indeed, Dominic Murphy's just said, nothing is off the table in terms of where he is or if he's being assisted. So I'm not reading too much into it, Mark. My own view is I've got a feeling this is going to be down to a terrible error in terms of lax searching facilities. Getting some information in now about a delivery driver who used to do deliveries to Wandsworth, who said they never checked underneath his van. You know, they used to do pat-down searches, take his phone, look inside the vehicle, but they didn't look underneath it. That's a terrible flaw, and I'm sure someone like Daniel Khalife, who was a soldier, will have observed that, will have noticed that, has seen that that's a weakness and exploited it. And of course, we know that in 2019, the exact same thing happened. In 2019, a prisoner escaped from Wandsworth. He made off in a court security van, a Serco van, by clinging to the, underneath it as it made its way out of the gates. He was recaptured. I don't think it was as high profile as this, but, you know, the same thing has happened again just 4 years later.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Danny, appreciate your time. Thanks very much.